even in the silence. I prayed every night, but heaven stayed quiet. Mom's health was getting worse. The bills kept coming. And I couldn't find work. Every day felt like drowning in slow motion. No matter how hard I prayed, nothing changed. I remember kneeling on the cold kitchen floor at 2 a.m., tears streaming down my face, whispering into the dark, "God, are you still here? Because I can't feel you anymore." The fridge was empty. The lights were off. The silence was deafening. In the next room, my little boy was sleeping, clutching a toy with no batteries, because I couldn't even afford that. I'd promised him things would get better, but I didn't believe it myself anymore. How do you have faith when your prayers feel like they're hitting a ceiling? I opened my Bible, desperate for anything, a verse, a sign, a reason to keep going. It fell open to Psalm 46. Be still, and know that I am God. I didn't want stillness. I wanted answers. I wanted God to show up, to fix things, to prove He was listening. But for the first time, I stopped talking, stopped begging, stopped demanding. I just sat there in the dark, Bible open on my lap, and let the silence wash over me. And something changed. The silence didn't feel empty anymore. It felt like someone was sitting beside me, not speaking, not fixing, just there. Like I wasn't alone, even when I felt most abandoned. The next morning, I woke up to a knock on the door. My neighbor stood there with groceries in her arms and tears in her eyes. I don't know why, but I felt like I needed to bring you these, she said. In her hand was an envelope. Inside, enough money to cover the electric bill. And a note that said, "You are not forgotten." I stood there in my doorway, holding those groceries, and I finally understood. God wasn't ignoring me. He was teaching me how to hear Him, not in the answered prayers or the miracles I demanded, but in the stillness, in the silence, in the presence that stayed when everything else fell away. Sometimes, God's answer isn't a solution. It's a whisper that says, "I'm here." Even when you can't feel me. Even when you can't see me. I'm here. Have you ever felt abandoned by God, only to realize He was there all along? Tell me in the comments, when did you finally hear Him in the silence? And if you need more stories that remind you you're not alone, subscribe to Mustard Seed Story. Because sometimes, hope whispers.